It started with a ping that never came. One by one, the group chat bubbles disappeared, until only silence filled the phone screen. That hollow, glowing rectangle where laughter used to live. Maybe it's just a glitch, someone murmured to no one, scrolling up to find proof of belonging. But no, the name was gone, removed, deleted. Outside, rain pressed its face against the windows like a nosy spectator. Inside, the air buzzed with the kind of stillness that makes your throat close. Words that once stitched this family together had curdled into secrets, and the screen now reflected the truth no one would say aloud. They didn't want to hear you anymore. Somewhere in the distance, an electronic hum grew louder. The first billboard flickering to life, spelling out the hurt for the whole city to see. The morning after, the world pretends nothing happened. The rain has dried, but the air smells like something unresolved. Metallic, almost like regret. The city moves on, oblivious, while somewhere in a crowded kitchen, screens glow with messages the sender will never see. The group chat buzzes with laughter again, fresh emojis, inside jokes, all without a trace of guilt. But silence can haunt a place. It lingers behind every laugh, slipping under every pause. One sibling scrolls past the billboard, now lighting up the main square. At first amused, then uneasy. Another pretends not to notice it at all, choosing instead to talk about brunch plans and family dinners that are never meant for everyone. Somewhere else, alone, Alex sips cold coffee and watches the metrics climb. Every view, every like, a pulse of vindication. Every second, a reminder they're finally listening. The billboard becomes the talk of the town. Some call it art, some call it madness. But for those whose names are hidden within the story is an unspoken wound made public. At the office, in the supermarket, at traffic lights, there it is again. Hi family, see me now. A sentence that doesn't blink. Lena feels it burning through her windshield every morning, each repetition a reminder of something she can't fix. Her phone vibrates with messages from cousins and old friends. Is that about you guys? She never answers. In her silence, guilt festers quietly, growing roots deep into the place where pride once lived. Evening settles like a bruise over the city. Inside a crowded bar, laughter and music try to drown out the whispers. Ethan scrolls his feed, finding clip after clip of strangers recording the billboard, tagging it with words like revenge, genius, pain. Each replay feels heavier. He tells himself Alex just wants attention. That it's petty, childish, but deep down he knows this isn't about attention. It's about erasure. He lowers his phone, and for a moment he can almost hear Alex's voice between the hum of the bar and the static of the TV. You taught me silence. I'm just speaking your language. Night again. The city hums with electricity and the billboard changes. No longer a taunt, now it's a memory. Old photographs begin to play, stitched from fragments of forgotten drives, birthdays, summer trips, moments of laughter before silence took root. Faces appear, theirs, smiling in better times. The message beneath reads, "You removed me, but I kept everything." Gasps ripple through the streets. In their homes, behind locked doors, the family watches helplessly as their past becomes public cinema. Somewhere on a rooftop, Alex stands before the skyline, wind tousling their hair, the city below pulsing like a living confession. The group chat is quiet, but the world is talking now. Morning light feels colder when it falls on scandal. By now, the city has turned Alex's pain into a spectacle. News anchors reciting their message like scripture, strangers debating online about family accountability. Every share multiplies the wound. In a quiet living room filled with yesterday's coffee cups and today's denial, the group chat lies frozen. No one types first. Pride has turned their phones into tombstones of unsent apologies. Outside, billboards shimmer with new uploads. Clips of laughter cut mid-sentence, smiles fading into static. For the family, the line between home and humiliation dissolves. They are all famous now, but only for how they failed each other. At the office, Ethan becomes a walking headline. Whispers ripple when he enters the room, the kind that start with pity but end with judgment. He keeps his head down, the world's noise humming louder than the printers around him. His inbox fills with interviews, questions, betrayal disguised as curiosity. When the boss calls him in, there's no anger, only discomfort. That soft corporate pity that cuts deeper than blame. Maybe take some time off, they suggest. Ethan nods, pretending not to see his own reflection in the black mirror of the turned-off monitor. A man whose silence finally found an echo too big to contain. Across town, Alex watches the chaos unfold from a rented studio filled with cables, screens, and the soft hum of creation. They tell themselves it's not revenge, it's visibility, a reclamation. Yet, the adrenaline that once felt righteous now tastes bitter. The comments flood in, half cheering, half cruel. Strangers call them a hero, others a monster. The line between vindication and exposure blurs. Alex plays the latest clip, the one showing Lena's laughter from a long-ago dinner, and hesitates before pressing upload. Their hand trembles. For the first time, they wonder if this victory might be burning everything left that still had love in it. Lena breaks first. She drives aimlessly through the city at dusk, following every billboard like a trail of guilt. The faces, the memories, all weaponized now. She remembers the night they kicked Alex out of the chat, the argument, the exhaustion, the bitter words typed faster than they were felt. It wasn't cruelty, she tells herself. It was survival. But as she pulls over beneath the newest screen, the one showing their mother's old birthday toast, she feels something collapse inside her. Maybe it's too late to fix, but not too late to say sorry. Night folds the city in blue silence. The family's group chat comes alive again. 3 dots blinking, disappearing, reappearing. No words yet, just hesitation made visible. Ethan types, "We need to talk." Deletes it. Lena types, "I'm sorry." Deletes it too. Then finally, a single message appears from an unknown number. "You see me now, but do you hear me yet?" No one replies. The city glows quietly beneath their unread truths, billboards pulsing like heartbeats waiting for forgiveness. Somewhere, Alex sits by the window, phone screen reflected in their eyes, as rain begins to fall again. 3 days without sleep. The billboards haven't stopped. They've multiplied. Every corner of the city hums with their private history. By now, the world knows the names, the faces, the arguments. Strangers have taken sides in a war built from family pain. Alex stands in the heart of it, finally seen, but not whole. Their phone buzzes again. Let's meet. No cameras, just us. The message comes from Lena. Alex stares at it, the words glowing like a fragile bridge built over fire. Silence stretches. Then okay. Outside, rain drips off power lines like clock ticks, counting down to the moment when truth stops hiding behind screens. They meet in a parking lot beneath one of the smaller screens, the one that hasn't yet gone viral. The silence between them feels like an old photograph. Faded, delicate, but still alive. No one speaks first. Lena looks up at the flickering light, her breath visible in the night air. "Was this your revenge?" she asks softly. Alex doesn't answer, only watches the rain ripple through puddles, their reflections split by rippling neon. "You made the whole city our therapist," Lena continues, voice cracking. Alex finally says, "You made me a ghost before that." There it is, the wound laid bare. Between them, the billboard hums, the sound of circuitry becoming the sound of memory, refusing to die. Ethan arrives unannounced, headlights slicing through the wet night, reflecting off their stunned faces. He steps out, wordless, holding his phone up toward the billboard. It won't stop, he says. You win. You're everywhere now. His tone isn't anger anymore. It's surrender mixed with something heavier, grief. This wasn't about winning, Alex says. It was about remembering. The billboard flickers. Static. Then a sudden image, their mother's voice in a home video, laughing, saying, "Family means never deleting love." None of them can speak. The words fall on them like rain, washing away the noise, leaving only what's real: three broken people, still tethered by something that refuses to die. They sit together in the car, engine off, rain drumming on the roof. For the first time in years, there are no screens between them. Just words, trembling and late. "We should have called," Lena whispers. "We should have stayed," Ethan adds. Alex exhales, voice breaking. "You could have just asked how I was." The city outside blurs into streaks of light through fogged glass. No one says sorry, not exactly, but their silence softens. Something fragile, unfinished but human. On the radio, a news anchor's voice fades in, announcing that the viral billboards are being taken down for emotional harm. They all laugh, once, dry and unsteady, realizing the irony it took the world breaking in on them for them to finally talk. Just before dawn, they stand on the rooftop where it all began. The city stretches out beneath them, quiet and forgiving. Alex opens their laptop, hand hovering over the shutdown command for the billboard network. "You don't have to," Ethan says, but Alex shakes their head. It's time. One click, and across the skyline, screens fade one by one into black. For a long moment, the city is dark. Then, slowly, light returns. Sunrise, spilling gold across buildings still damp with rain. The silence feels clean. They watch it together, not as enemies, not yet as healed, but as witnesses to their own aftermath. By the end of the week, silence has become a new kind of noise. The city feels emptier without Alex's billboards, but the ghost of them lingers in glass reflections and whispers on sidewalks. The story has evolved beyond them now. Journalists, influencers, strangers spinning narratives from fragments of truth. What began as a scream for recognition has turned into a mirror everyone wants to own. Alex scrolls through news feeds that speak about the artist of emotional accountability while skipping over their real name. Fame without ownership, exposure without control. They shut the laptop. Somewhere inside, the silence stings again because they didn't ask to be a symbol. They just wanted to be heard. Lena tries to resume normalcy. Work, errands, the illusion of routine. But normal doesn't recognize her anymore. Strangers look twice in the grocery store. Someone whispers her name at the bank. The city has turned intimacy into spectacle, and she can't walk through it without wearing shame like perfume. She avoids group chats now, ignores invitations, deletes messages before reading them. But one night she catches her reflection in a shop window, the reflection of someone carrying both guilt and understanding. Maybe Alex didn't destroy them, she thinks. Maybe they forced Alex to do what they couldn't, make the silence visible. Roar. Shri. Show. Ethan tries to rebuild control. He reaches out to PR agencies, posts statements, even drafts apologies that sound rehearsed but hollow. The internet doesn't care about nuance. It only loves extremes. Every attempt to explain sounds like deflection. Every word twisted by comment sections into something cruel. At night, he scrolls through Alex's old designs, the raw, aching ones from before the fallout. He pauses on a single line Alex once wrote in an early concept note. Visibility isn't vengeance. It's a plea. For the first time, he stops seeing Alex as an adversary and starts seeing them as a mirror he refused to look into. The city council decides to hold an ethics of art forum, a polite way to dissect their family in public. Cameras, microphones, commentators, they're invited to speak, all three. Lena refuses. Ethan rehearses. Alex hesitates. When the night arrives, the auditorium feels sterile, but the air is thick with voyeurism. Questions fly like stones disguised as curiosity. Was it worth it? Do you regret it? Alex leans toward the mic. I just wanted to be seen by the people who said they loved me. A hush falls. Then applause, not for them, but for the spectacle of confession. That night, the city glows differently, not from screens or spectacle, but from windows lit one by one. People awake, thinking about their own silences. Alex walks home alone. Rain, beginning again, steady and patient. The billboards are gone, but their absence feels full. A quiet reminder of what once screamed. At an intersection, a stranger recognizes them, smiles softly, and says, "I called my sister tonight." Alex nods. For the first time, the recognition doesn't sting. Maybe exposure was never the end. Just the mirror, cracked but still reflecting light. There's something haunting about going home after a war no one won. The old house stands unchanged, same ivy crawling up the walls, same uneven porch steps, yet every brick hums with what they left unsaid. Lena arrives first, then Ethan. The air between them carries years of avoidance disguised as maturity. When Alex appears at the gate, silence hits like thunder without sound. For a long moment, no one moves. Then, without a word, they walk inside. The floorboards creak beneath the weight of memory. The family photos on the walls, smiling ghosts of a time before pride, watch quietly as the living relearn how to speak. Inside, the house smells the same. Old varnish, dust, something faintly sweet. Time hasn't lived here. It's only paused. They gather in the kitchen, the heart of every argument they've ever had. The silence stretches like fabric ready to tear. Ethan finally breaks it. Why here? Alex shrugs. Because this is where we stopped listening. Lena exhales, sinking into a chair. You think the billboards made us hear you? They just made me realize how long I ignored you. The kettle whistles, too loud, too soon, and no one moves to turn it off. Their reflections blur in the chrome appliances. 3 people, fractured, still connected by a shape called family. The argument doesn't explode, it unravels. Years of resentment spill out in half-whispered accusations and shaky apologies. You shut me out, Alex says. You broadcasted us. Ethan fires back. You both forgot what love costs. Lena cuts in. The words tangle, trip, and finally fall quiet. Then, like a crack letting in light, Alex laughs, short, breathless, almost disbelieving. We're still doing it, they say. Still talking to hurt, not to heal. Something softens in Ethan's eyes. Lena's hand finds Alex across the table. For the first time, no one pulls away. Evening creeps in through the kitchen windows. The siblings sit on the floor now, surrounded by old photo albums and laughter filtered through exhaustion. They find a photo of their mother, the one from the birthday video that went viral. Her eyes bright, her smile endless. She'd hate how we turned pain into art, Ethan murmurs. No, Alex replies, tracing her face with a fingertip. She'd hate that we waited this long to speak. They laugh again, quieter this time. The sound breaking something open. Outside, fireflies drift in the backyard, blinking like tiny reminders that even darkness can shimmer. Later that night, they step outside together. The storm clouds have cleared. The city hums faintly in the distance. The house behind them glows with gentle light. No billboards, no spectacle, just warmth. So what now? Ethan asks. Alex looks toward the skyline. We rebuild quietly, they say. We let silence be peace again. Lena nods. And maybe we listen this time. They stand together for a long moment, the wind brushing through the trees like an exhale. For once, no one needs to speak. The silence holds not as punishment, but as grace. The days stretch quietly now, a rhythm unfamiliar but kind. For the first time in years, there are no notifications, no headlines, no new fires to put out. Alex works from a small design studio above a bookstore where sunlight pours through dusty windows. Their art looks different, gentler, personal, meant for no one but them. Lena drops by sometimes, leaving lunch or old photos, accidentally forgotten. Ethan calls on weekends, his voice steadier each time. Healing, it turns out, isn't loud. It's repetition. It's showing up. The world has moved on from their story, but they're still living it, slowly reshaping what family means when performance fades. Lena's world softens too. She returns to teaching art at the local community center, a space once closed for budget cuts, now reopened through her own stubborn persistence. On the first day, she sees her students sketching under flickering fluorescent lights and feels a small, steady pride. After class, she walks outside, finding Alex waiting on the steps with coffee. "I like what you're building," Alex says. Lena smiles. "We all build better when no one's watching." For a moment, the city noise fades, replaced by the simple rhythm of forgiveness in progress. Ethan, for his part, has learned to stop curating his silence. He quits his corporate job, trades glass walls for a smaller, simpler space, a repair shop at the edge of town. It's the kind of place where conversations happen without pretense, where fixing things feels like prayer. One afternoon, Alex drops by with an old camera, the same one their mother used to film birthdays. "Can you make it work again?" they ask. Ethan smiles faintly. "I'll try." He opens the back panel, finds the film still inside, exposed but undeveloped, a frozen memory, waiting to breathe again. Months later, the siblings gather again, not out of guilt, but choice. The backyard is alive with summer light, the table set, simply mismatched plates, lemonade sweating in the heat. Laughter comes easier now, less careful. A camera sits on the table, repaired, waiting. "Should we?" Lena asks. Ethan nods, smiling. Alex presses record. The frame catches their imperfect joy. Unposed, unscripted, enough. This time, no billboards, no audience, just three people relearning presence, holding their story quietly, as if it might finally stay whole. Night falls slow and generous. The siblings sit by the fire pit, embers rising into a navy blue sky. Alex scrolls through old footage on the camera, stopping on a clip of their mother laughing. The same laugh that once echoed through the billboards, now small enough to fit in their hands. "Do you think she'd be proud?" Ethan asks quietly. Lena leans back, smiling through tears. "Maybe not proud," she says, "but I think she'd understand." They sit in silence, the flames crackling, the past finally small enough to hold. Somewhere beyond the trees, the city glows. Not accusing, not watching, just existing. The way love sometimes does after it survives itself. Years later, the city has changed. New lights, new faces, new noise. But somewhere within the concrete pulse, their story hums quietly like a heartbeat the world forgot. The old billboards stand repurposed, now art installations, community murals, places where strangers leave messages for those they've lost touch with. Alex walks through the streets that once broadcast their pain, carrying a small portfolio of new work. Every corner holds a ghost of light, faint and forgiving. They pause beneath one old screen now covered in ivy. Someone's written in chalk below it, "Family is what you rebuild after the storm." Alex smiles. This finally feels like peace, not a spectacle, but an echo softened by time. In another part of the city, Lena's art students hang their final exhibition, a collection titled Unseen Connections. She moves slowly through the room, stopping at each painting, fingers brushing lightly across the canvases. One shows a family sitting in soft light, their faces blurred but their hands touching. The placard reads simply, "Reassembled." A voice from behind her says, "It feels alive." She turns. It's Alex. Smile. For a moment, teacher and creator, sister and sibling, artist and witness stand side by side, no longer performing, just present. The world outside fades to silence as they step back and look together at what healing can make when it stops trying to prove itself. Ethan never returned to his old world. He runs a small repair shop by the sea now, where people bring him things that stopped working. Cameras, radios, clocks that refuse to tick. Sometimes, when business is slow, he listens to the ocean and thinks about how time forgives if you let it. One evening, as the sun dips low, a customer leaves behind a note tucked in a camera case. "You fixed something I didn't know was broken." He reads it twice, then smiles, closing the shop early. As the tide swells outside, he looks toward the horizon, where the sky burns gold, and murmurs, "So did we." The siblings reunite once more, not out of necessity but choice. They meet on the same rooftop where the first billboard once glowed. Now it's just sky and wind, a clean canvas. Lena brings a thermos of coffee. Ethan brings an old photo. Alex brings nothing but quiet. They sit at the ledge, legs swinging, watching the city breathe below. "It doesn't look the same," Ethan says. "Neither do we," Lena replies. "Good," Alex adds softly. The laughter that follows is easy, the kind that doesn't need to hide in light. Below them, a digital screen flickers to life unexpectedly. A new art piece, 3 silhouettes in silhouette, captioned, "Woo, remember." None of them claim it, but all of them smile. Night deepens. The city's rhythm slows, and somewhere between the hum of traffic and the hush of wind, the story settles, not ended, but transformed. Alex walks home alone, passing one last billboard on a quiet avenue. It's blank now, waiting for someone else's voice. They pause, take out their phone, and snap a picture, not to post, not to share, just to keep. The camera catches their reflection against the emptiness, and for the first time, it doesn't hurt. In that mirrored silence, they see what the whole city once saw. Not revenge, not fame, not grief, but the simplest, most impossible thing: survival wrapped in love.